Well, I'm happy the fact that they are scouring the budget, looking for savings. And in fact, these savings are likely going to be dedicated to additional spending in the area of defense. And so I definitely am a big fan of the pay-as-you-go principle. If you're going to do something new, pay for it. And let's look throughout the budget and think about where entrenched spending is that we don't necessarily need. But if you broaden the whole budget picture out to look at the entire budget, they're actually only looking at a very small piece of the budget. And oftentimes we hear about things like earmarks or too many government workers. And that's not where you're going to find the real savings when there are these big pieces like health care reform and the aging of the population that really have to be dealt with. So at the same time that I think I'm going to applaud this part of the budget that's looking for savings to pay for new initiatives, I'm very concerned about how much of the budget appears to be off of the table.
Yeah, major health care, Social Security, as we're showing on the screen right now, half of what government spending is going to be this year, yet President Trump has said entitlements are off the table. Is that workable, and does that surprise you in a case where the GOP has control of both the executive branch and both houses of Congress? They could get something done here.
Yeah, it surprises me a lot because for many years, as a bipartisan group, we always work with Republicans and Democrats, and we've heard from Republicans for quite some time as they've put forth budgets that would reach balance in 10 years. Oh, there's a long list of things that we want to do. A big piece of that has been entitlement reform. And once we get into a situation of having the Senate, the House, and the White House, we really can make a difference. So here we are, and it's kind of the moment where the truth is going to come to the surface. And suddenly, we're not hearing very much about entitlement reform at all. Now, admittedly, that's mainly from the president, who said he doesn't want to reform entitlements. There are still many in the House and the Senate, and perhaps some in his administration who want to. But we need to look at the real budget picture. The debt is on an unsustainable path. Social Security and Medicare need reforms in order to make good on all the promises they've made. And so promising not to touch them not only harms the fiscal picture, it means the people who depend on those programs are left vulnerable. So a lot of people nod their heads when politicians promise not to touch entitlements. It actually is doing no favors to those programs. And I do hope that Republicans that have made the case, I believe rightly, that entitlements have to be addressed, really stick to that commitment, because now is an important time, as the baby boomers are moving into retirement, to address those very large challenges.
Maya, we've been talking this morning about the White House sort of questioning a little bit the credibility of the CBO in anticipation of this ruling, of these results, the scoring that we're going to get this afternoon. What kind of strategy do you think that is? Do you think that, I mean, they've put out the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the OMB director. Do you think the White House can effectively counter anything that does come out of the CBO today?
Yeah, I'm really concerned about what we've seen here, and I think it's a cheap trick because the Congressional Budget Office can never make perfect projections on these huge pieces of legislation or where the economy's going. But here's what's really important about CBO. One, their projections have in many cases been remarkably good and better than a lot of the other estimators. But most importantly, they're unbiased. In a town that is so partisan and so political, and everybody kind of tries to create the numbers to back up what they want to say, CBO is well known and well regarded as really putting out the best estimates that it can do. And this is invaluable when we're looking at big pieces of legislation, and particularly how that legislation will affect the overall fiscal health of the country. And so I think it's very important that we not undercut CBO. It is bipartisan. Republicans appointed the current director. There has been no question that the reports they've been putting out have been unbiased, and their work is really has been good for so long. It's going to harm our ability to put together good policy and look at numbers if we use this strategy. So I'm very disappointed, and I hope that we pay attention to the score that CBO puts out, because the numbers matter.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.